Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be going through Gods Unchained. What makes it a very enticing project for an NFT trader and what the whole thing is about. So Gods Unchained is actually based off a very popular genre of trading card game. So whether it be Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Hearthstone, but you may have come across digital card games where you can kind of verse each other in a strategy-based turn-by-turn game. And Gods Unchained wants a piece of that pie. The difference being with Gods Unchained is the project is based on blockchain, right? So you can 100% own these cards, as I've explained previously, as tokens. And those tokens you can buy and sell. So these cards you can buy and sell to people across the world for all kinds of prices. So Gods Unchained specifically is a very interesting proposition, mainly because it does really well in terms of volume. You can see a lot of people. It's currently topping the charts in the NFT rankings. It has 1,400 Ethereum transaction volume in the last 7 days, which is 2 to 3 times the top ranking ones, which is quite a lot. Basically, what that means is a lot of people are buying and selling cards, and the more transaction volume there is of cards that are of high value or assets that are of high value, the more opportunity there is to buy and sell. For example, if every day there are hundreds and hundreds of items being bought and sold, there's obviously more opportunity to buy and sell, right, as a trader, as opposed to say 1 or 2 trades happening every day overall in the market. It's very hard to find opportunity and capitalize on that. So the way it worked for Gods Unchained is that you, at the pre-sale stage, which ran for about a year, you had to buy one of 4 different packs of cards: rare, epic, legendary, and shiny legendary. You can see the prices here: 0.012 Ethereum. Ethereum being the cryptocurrency, it's worth about $140 or 135 US dollars at the time of making this video. So this was, at the time of buying, it kind of ranged between $2 to $5 for a rare, to a little bit more for an epic, and more for a legendary. And for a rare, you got basically a minimum of a rare card, which looks like a rare card looks like this, where it has a blue gems on the side of it, and it's the least ironically rarest, right? Well, actually, common cards are the most common, and then you have rare, and then you have epic. It gets more and more scarce and rarer as you go down the list. Legendary cards being the least within the supply. So when you buy a rare pack, you have 74% chance of getting a common, 22% chance of getting a rare in the other cards, 3.5% of getting an epic, 0.5% of getting a legendary. Okay, chances in a percentage for each rarity. So once everyone bought the cards and 5 to 7 million cards were sold and reached their cap, there was only a certain limit of each rarity that were bought, that were out there in circulation. So this being a rare, as you can see by the blue gems, if you click on it, you'll see there's only about 12,000 of this particular card in circulation. Then you can get different shines of it, right? You can get a shadow, gold, legendary. These also are very difficult to get. So you can get legendary version of every card. A diamond version of every card, but that in itself had like a very small percentage to get. I think it was like 0.2% or something. So this one is an epic. You can see with the purple, it has much less. I think it has about 4 to 5. Oh, that's a free one because that's from the core set. So we're gonna make this Genesis set. Then we're gonna find ourselves an epic. Yep. And this one is about 5,000 in circulation, or 4,500. So it's about half the amount of rares. Common, which have no colored gems on the side, there are about 35,000 in circulation of each card. And the legendaries, if we can find one, yes we can. This one, there's only about 2,500 of these in circulation. So depending on what card you got, obviously there's a limit of these cards, and as they become more and more used within the game and the player base grows and people want to buy the very first set, the Genesis set of cards, they want to complete their decks, it's going to become more and more expensive just as they get more and more rare and the project grows. That's a very interesting prospect for Gods Unchained. It also helps in the fact that they reached their 33,000 Ethereum pre-sale cap, which is quite a lot of Ethereum to gain in this condition of a crypto condition. They have some very big backers, Coinbase being one of them. They also have a tournament coming up, which has a prize pool of 541,000 USD. Pretty big prize pool. It's going to be great, a really good tournament. You had a chance of getting a mythic card in the pack, so that would have been very, very rare. And if you bought these sold for astronomical prices. The final bid for Hyperion Mythic, which was the first Mythic card to be auctioned, I think the auction ended at about 150 Ethereum at the time, whereas Prometheus and Atlas sold on the marketplace for around 210 to 230 Ethereum about a month ago. So, those cards were really, really rare, but then you got the legendaries and stuff like that. So that's how Gods Unchained works. You buy different packs, you get cards, and now each card has a limit. You can buy and sell those cards. And the way you kind of open the packs was pretty cool. It kind of made buying addictive. Kind of flip the cards over. I think the animation is exactly the same for Hearthstone. So this guy got a legendary from a rare pack. And then eventually, once the marketplace opened and people started to buy and sell cards, some of these cards started to gain in value astronomically. So you can see this one started at 0.2 Ethereum, and now 1.5 months later it's sitting at 0.6 Ethereum. So that's a 3x increase in value, right? And people are still buying it pretty frequently. You can see the dots there, 6 bought there, 3 bought there. There's a lot of frequent buying action is going on, so volume is good. Even these cards this card's just gone crazy, mainly because one buyer's come and pretty much bought a lot of the supply. But this one started at 0.06, I think, hit 0.05, and now it's sitting at 0.25. So a lot of these cards, the more rarer they get, basically the more expensive they are. There's only 38 or 50 of these in circulation, as opposed to if you were to go to the epics. There's a lot more. So if you were to disregard that's a promo card. There's 97. There's pretty much actually a similar amount of epics. It's not that big of a variety, but obviously epics are more, they're not as scarce as the legendaries. So anyway, these cards are starting to be used, and at the end of the day, there's different types of investors. There's those that want to play the game, so they buy the cards and then they compete against each other on the platform. And then you can see the types of cards here on this really cool website called cardsunchained.com. You can see how many hits particular cards have within decks, how many times they've been played. This one's ranking number 1 currently, which means it's being used the most. So Pyramid Warden, which is a rare card, and if you go to the rare section, you can see Pyramid Warden, if you scroll all the way up, as being one of the top cards. So you got Pyramid Warden and Golem Centurion. The cards that are more popular seem to be going up in value quicker, and every now and then you get someone just buying a ton of cards and pumping the prices up, because you can. With a few Ethereum, you can pump these prices up crazily. And that's just how NFT markets work. They work with scarcity, utility, and a lot of speculation at the end of the day. So the very interesting thing is a lot of these cards have been going up in value, and if you were a really large investor with like hundreds of Ethereum in this game at the start, not so much during the pre-sale stage, but more when the marketplace got released, and if you were really early to catch the initial dump that people just wanted to get rid of their cards, then you would have done really well at the current stage of the game. So that's Gods Unchained at the moment. Very active marketplace, a game that's picking up kind of versus each other, and they're growing their user base. They've also got some really interesting characters join. They recruited Chris Clay as the game director for Gods Unchained, and Chris Clay's had a lot of experience. 20 years he's been part of the development and design in the industry, most recently as a game director on Magic the Gathering Arena. So brings a lot of experience coming from a TCG kind of space, and to bring that to blockchain, they're getting the right minds in there. So it has a lot going for it, a very active marketplace, cards that have gone up in value a lot, the right people to push it, a tournament coming up. It looks very promising, and that's why one of the reasons what makes it a very enticing area to buy and sell cards or buy and sell NFTs. And you can see here I've got this really cool bot tool that pings me every time a large sale is made, and every now and then a card sells for about 3 to 8 ETH, 1 Ethereum, 6.5 Ethereum. A while ago we had a lot of 2 Ethereum buys. You know, this day we had a lot of people buying gold legendaries, or I think it was just one buyer buying a lot of gold legendaries. And you know, we can kind of see which, this one pings me every time a legendary is sold. So every now and then I can kind of see which ones are being bought frequently. But you know, buy action is very frequent, which is really good. Volume is very quick, very good. So give it a few months, and suddenly after a lot of these cards get bought up, for example, if people continue to buy Golem Centurion, say a couple of sell every day, then in 30 days, in a month's time, you're gonna have 12 pages. So suddenly you're gonna have a card that was worth 0.04 be worth 0.07, just because that's the only price you can buy it for. So that's the interesting part about Gods Unchained, is that utility is driving the price high, volume is good, and it just makes a really good ground to buy and sell NFTs, or even just buy them early on and hold them for a bit. And this is one of the reasons why investing in this is a lot more exciting than altcoins, just because altcoins are really just at the mercy of Bitcoin at the moment. But at least this has a utility and a visual progress that people can use and benefit from. So that's it for Gods Unchained. Hope I covered the basics. Go through different material if you want, get involved, download MetaMask and start buying. But yeah, check it out. I feel it's one of the most promising games, blockchain games at the moment, and it's one of my top 2, Decentraland being the second.